I had to protect my secret at all costs. I couldn't let anyone know that Megan Hart, world-famous author known for her tastefully naughty romance, was actually a 33-year-old bachelor. What would my readers think if they discovered the truth? Would they feel betrayed, misled? Would it undermine their confidence in my work, their love of my stories? I thought about it often, because if the truth came out, it could wreck my brand and ruin my career. A career I'd spent years building. I'd invested too much. I'd come too far to reveal my identity now. I relied on the income from my books, and I loved my job, even if sometimes I hated keeping it a secret. Sometimes I wanted the credit for my hard work. Me, not Megan. I'd overhear my younger sister, Ren, gushing about Megan's latest release, or my mom, who had the exclusive right to sell signed paperbacks in her bookstore, Biblio later, would marvel that the signed copies had sold out in an hour. Megan had even hired Ren's photography studio to take her cover photos. The two most important women in my life were both intimately involved in my business, but I couldn't seem to tell them who was really behind the name. I was scared. I knew the air of mystery was part of the allure for my readers. Everyone wanted to know who the elusive Megan Hart really was, but it was more than that. I was scared it would change the way my friends and family looked at me. It had certainly changed my grandpa's opinion of me. I shuddered at the memory, knowing that his reaction had kept me from telling anyone else. I didn't think Ren would judge me, but I was her older brother, her protector. She'd never been anything but loving and supportive of me. Then again, I hadn't expected it from my grandpa either. While I tried to tell myself that Ren would always embrace me for who I was, the longer I kept this secret, the harder it was to tell anyone. I can only imagine the sense of betrayal she'd feel. The only thing worse than a liar was a hypocrite, and I was both. When I'd learned the truth about my best friend and my little sister's relationship, I'd been livid. Bennett was supposed to be her roommate, and a temporary one at that. He was supposed to look out for her, not sleep with her. They'd been sneaking around behind my back, lying to me about their friendship. I hadn't handled it well. Granted, the discovery had come on the heels of Tessa's death, but it was weeks before I'd even considered speaking to Ren or Bennett again. I'd taken the protective older brother role too far, let my own fears almost get in the way of their happiness. I'd since realized how wrong I'd been, and how right for each other they were. But their betrayal had stung, and they'd only hidden the truth for weeks. How would they feel if they discovered I'd been lying to them for years? "Fuck, I'm starving," Asher said, glancing around the bar as if searching for someone. "You eaten yet?" I shook my head as he slid me a menu. "I was waiting for you. Wasn't sure if you'd want to stay here or not." He shrugged. "We're already here. Might as well stay." "Sometimes I wonder why you don't just move in," I teased, knowing the long hours he often worked, especially on a day like today. Though he wasn't the only one. Fall River Estates was busy year-round thanks to its award-winning wines, beautiful scenery, and incredible food. But the fall was especially hectic due to the grape harvest. I was honestly surprised Enzo had ever agreed to hold the wedding during vintage. "Hey, Lisa," Asher called to the bartender. "Can I get a glass of Solve?" "You got it." She was practically stripping him down with her eyes. When I glanced at Asher, he wore a similar look. Ugh. I had a feeling that would bite him in the ass eventually, though maybe not. Women of the AV knew what to expect from Asher, and it wasn't commitment. That was the problem with small-town life. Everyone knew everyone else's business. And it was a big reason why I'd given up on dating long ago. Well, that, and the fact that most women seemed to want more than I was able to give. It was much easier to lose myself in the worlds of my characters than to open my heart after what had happened with Diane. So I tried to ignore Asher and Lisa's eye-fucking and let my mind wander. Maybe I should write a story about a workplace romance between a bartender and a famous pastry chef. It could be a grumpy sunshine, or maybe an age gap, make her 10 years younger, or